G'day team, this is really exciting. This is the first time we have ever done this. The first time ever. Today I'm going to show you a walkthrough of how to make John Lennon in the Sid Gower art style. Now normally what we do, we don't go behind the scenes, I make it for you. I put the colours where I think they go, I go wild, I change tact, I head in all directions. We're a bit windy today, but today I'm going to make it stroke by stroke with you guys. Okay, our face. John Lennon. Now I'm going to bring an example here up really close to you guys. I've tempered with this image before we've started to make it as easy as possible for you guys to follow along. Here we go. If I bring it right up here, the first thing we're going to do, and if you want to get ready, the first thing we're going to do, blue. If you're using acrylics, oils, whatever, doesn't matter. But I need you on blue. We're just using 3 primary colours. Now, I've tempered with this photo, and you can see I've taken out all of the shades. All you can see is the dark areas, and in the white, the light areas. Now, what I need you to do with blue is we're only touching the shapes that make up those dark areas. That's all we want. If you see a face with eyes, I don't want you drawing ovals for eyes. I don't want you doing a nose with nostrils. I don't want a line for the mouth. I want you to do exactly the shapes that we see in this picture. Okay, that's step 1. What's step 2? Don't ask yet. Don't ask. We're just doing the shapes. Step 1 with the blues. Okay, bring up my paint here. If you want to copy me, I'm working with egg tempera. But look, you don't have to copy me. You can run off on your own tangent, do your own thing. Absolutely love that if you do. Try not to lose your lids like I do. There we go. Now, being a paint and sip, guys, you've got to have something to sip. Now, I don't mind if it's water. I don't mind if it's something more frisky. For me, because there's community guidelines on social media, I'm having myself a lovely little hot chockey. Just a bit of coffee in it. Ah, beautiful. One more. Oh, that's good. Okay, down with that. Now, spotting shapes. There we go, beautiful paint. Blue. Now, John Lennon's hair's up here, but as you can see in our image, all we have in the center, a dot at the top and a line. That's all I want you to add. That little dot at the top, and then that line. That's it. We're just spotting the shapes in this picture. Over here, same thing with the hair. We have one line here, sort of triangle there, and a line up there. Ready? Adding. There's that line. Just spotting those darker areas, guys. Only the darker areas. One more up here. Tell you what I might do. Don't want you guys feeling left out. So, let me bring the stand over here. Spin this around. Ah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, I wonder, can I get you? Yes, I can. We're going to do a little bit of a home job here, team. My favourite kind of job. Wheel out this here. Out you come. And I'm going to push this through this. There we go. And back on. Now we're cooking on gas. I need this closer to you guys. There we go. Now, see up here? Line. Line and a dot. That's all we're adding. Just those little pieces. A little bit more there. There we go. Now I'm going to attack this eye here. Kind of looks like a bat. Then there's like a pot coming out from there and a little tail end on it. You're literally adding it in exactly as the shape looks. Don't see eyeballs, please don't see eyeballs, they'll only limit you. Here's that bat shape I was just looking at. And it comes over that way, there's that wing. Yeah, that kind of frisks down to there. And then there's that pot shape. Beautiful. It sneaks over that way. Perfect, fill that in. Just like that. Now, 3 colours, that's all we're using. And in the time it takes us to use these 3 colours, we're going to find the space. Just down here, there's a little bit like a little bit of a flame. Here we go. Perfect. And then, a little triangle. I'm using this picture, guys. We're not doing anything that's not in this picture. I see a shape here, I add it here. The next little part is when you can continue along this eyebrow, right the way to the end, and then, just like isn't it, spatter it up a wee bit, make it grow a little bit, just like that. And now that eye there matches. We're done there. We're moving on to the next eye. That is the next step. Now, this eye here, big, 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 darker area, all through here. We'll refine the edges later, but we need to fill that in. All of that space. Just like that. Get it nice and bold. There's a few little ridges, bits that stick out. A few little ridges and bits that stick out. And so I'm going to paint those in there. We'll flick there, and that one comes up there. Fills in there. Ooh, yes, and then there's one little dot out on its lonesome, not connected to the rest. That's what's happening up there. This continues to spin down. This is the fun. This comes all the way down here. Look at that. Copying the shape exactly as we see that shape. It's black and white, guys. We're putting the blue wherever the black is in this. Alright, that comes down here, combines across, just like that. Now, the difference in complexity between what we're doing here and one of the pieces I make, the difference in complexity is how many colours we're using and how many layers are we going to make. In this case here, we're using 3 colours and 1 layer. So, the shapes we leave behind will be seen in the end result. Try and make them look pretty. Nice sharp edges. Keep the strokes wet. Wet strokes always look good. Keep coming down here. Sneak down in here. It kind of goes straight, but then it kinks in, and then comes down here like that. Lovely. And it sneaks across, probably a bit earlier actually. There we go. And then I love this shape here. I love this shape here. Let me bring this in here. You see that little teardrop? It's kind of heading up on a 45-degree angle towards the eye on this side, but it is just a teardrop. There's no other details. So, let's paint a teardrop. That's all we need. Once I get this little piece in here, just like that, there's a teardrop up here. So I'm going to outline it first, then I'm going to fill it in. You ready? There's a teardrop, just like that. Just like that. Fill it in. It doesn't quite connect, that's where it is. Done. Now, this dark shape, we're not done with this yet. Keep spreading it out. There's a little spot here, kind of like a teardrop as well, where that blue doesn't reach. Keep filling that in. Ooh, yeah. Just like that. All the way up to the top. Just like that. Okay. Now there's 2 lines here, and this is quite naughty and fun. The glasses are subtle, but there is a little bit of a black line around here, and there is one that's a little bit thicker that goes on around here. We're going to draw those in. You ready? From this point here, from now on, that comes around there. Spikes out just a wee bit, it gets a little bit distracted, and then up it comes, just like that. If anything, too dark. And then this side here, we start there, I missed a little bit there. See how I got a little bit off track? But that's okay. That's okay. Now, keep filling in the darkness here. Can't say it enough, guys. Don't lose faith in the process. Keep looking for the shapes that we see, these dark areas. And we add the dark area onto the surface. That's all we want to see. All we want to see. Next place we're going. That sneaks down there, encroaches in, and it comes up. Yeah, there we go. This mouth, I don't want to see any lines. Don't you dare do a line. Look at this mouth. It comes up there, the oblong comes out, it shrinks a little bit, bulges at the end, and then finishes a kind of rectangle shape. That's what the mouth's doing. So make it happen on your piece. Just in here, dabble that through there. Beautiful. There's that little thing coming out. The rectangle we talked about. It goes thin for a little bit. There's that bulge right there. And then that little squared off finish. That's your mouth. And then, it creeps around here. With a little bit of white kept on the inside. Right around here. Just like that. That's exactly what I want. Kind of like a rectangle below that sheet there. And then a swish, drops down. A couple of little flakes. The black kind of breaks up there a little bit. Do you see that? Just down there. Gets kind of flaky and broken. Let's have some fun around that part. So we come down here. It's flaky and broken. And it just kind of, yeah, just a whole bunch of little strokes like that until, just like that. Now, there's some white patches in here. I'm going to surround those first, just like this. And if I surround them first, when I start coating this whole place in black, yeah, I'll know where to avoid. There we go, just like that. Just like that. See that? Perfect. Then there's another one there. Lovely. And another one. And another. Now, as you get that blue, you know what happens next. All of this gets filled in. That's all darkness, isn't it? It's all darkness that needs to be filled in with blue. Popping, delicious, intense blue. Just like that. God, I love the shade blue. Gorgeous to work with. I went to Rarotonga the other day, and in Rarotonga there was these lovely, lovely starfish, and they had that same colour of saturated blue. There were turtles out there, look, don't get me wrong, I love the turtles, but these starfish had this amazing amount of pop to them. It's infectious. Anyway, that comes through here. I think there's, yeah, lucky you didn't fill that in, there's a little bit there that I shouldn't touch. Perfect. And then all this part in here, you can see it, guys. It's all in the picture. All that's black. Look at that. We left that little white patch in there. We didn't fill it in, but now all this needs filling in. So get your brush, stir it around, make a mess. All through that part. Yum. Love that. One through here. A bit more. Not going to be nervous. If you're sitting there not sure where to apply the paint, don't judge yourself. Look for the shape and then apply it with confidence. And you can do it. I like the kind of Captain Hook vibe we have going at the moment too. He feels like he's got like a medical eye patch on because we haven't actually put the shapes in that eye yet. But this one here, because we just noticed those shapes, you do get that sort of lazy but rounded spectacle kind of John Lennon vibe. The nose, long but also shapely, and the mouth, kind of soft but pursed lips. We can see that just in the shapes we've got, okay? So at the moment, we've got Dr. Hook, but we will have John Lennon. Do you see how because we just focus on those shapes though, we got a mouth and we got a nose? Whereas if we drew a mouth and a nose, we wouldn't have John Lennon. We might have an awfully good mouth and a nose, but we wouldn't have John Lennon's mouth and a nose. You see, like we talked about, John Lennon's mouth isn't a line. John Lennon's mouth is a little cone coming down into a slightly parallelogrammed rectangle with a little blip, like a nugget that comes up there, another rectangle, a thinned out little oval lump, a bulge, and then a rectangle with a squared off finish. That is John Lennon's mouth. If we don't do it like that, we don't have John Lennon. And well, that's okay. This artist, this boy, wants John Lennon. So, this is your opportunity while I yarn about John Lennon's lips to have a sip. If I am moving fast on you too, take the opportunity to pause and sip. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Oh, that's good though. That's good. A little bit of hot chocolate and a black coffee, and a bit of a dash of cream on top. Really just smooths everything out. It's a real joy. Now, anyway, back in here. Shall we change Captain Hook, or are we liking that vibe right now? Let me just flex this out of the way. It's a metal bar, so it's very sturdy. Anyway, it's flexed the other way. Let's get this in here. Okay, down in here, that actually comes out a little bit more. There's a cheekiness in there. I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer, because I need you guys to know what we're working with. You see this yummy little edge? This yummy little edge down here? Kind of frayed, and it spikes out a wee bit, bulges, and then seeps into more fraying. I need that in there. I need that in there. There's that little bulge I talked about, just like that. Sneaks down here, escapes through here, just like that. Just like that. And then, up the side here, you know there's a shape in there. You know it. It kind of forks, tongues down that way, and then fills in with blue. Just like that. Tongue with a blue filling. All the way to those little shapes. There's a distinction between the shapes that we found, and the dark areas. There we go. Look at that. Now this comes the whole way up, like that. And then there's a little triangle up here. You see the triangle? Just fill it in, right there. But that's not the end of that little spot. It's got another little spot there, another little spot there, spot there, spot there. Am I making things up? I'm not making things up. Everything I'm seeing is in that pretty little picture. Everything I'm seeing. Where are we going next? You know I want to leave that eye patch like that for as long as possible because I personally find it funny. The next place we're going is up in here. And up in this corner, there's a big triangle that basically comes from here down to here, but with one catch. The corner here is not filled in. There's like a little, what do you call that? A zigzag up in that top corner. But the rest of it, once I do a little cut in there, is all just filled in. Just like this. That's all it is. The whole thing's filled in. That's a simple shape, guys. It's on the edge. Just needs a bit of filling in. But inside that and these strokes, well, we have John Lennon's hair. That's all we needed. Now. Here is an eyeball. Let's capture it. So, first off, there's a line that goes from here, and if you're like me, you might have got a bit excited, and in this part, I filled in too deep. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to fix that. And just like white is an eraser for pencils, so too, white and yellow, our eraser for how excited that we've got with the blues. Okay, the eye's the last thing we want though. Oh, once I get one more little naughty bit, just down here, there's a dot, there. Over here, there's a dot, there, down here. Enough with, oh, one more little dot there and there. I already captured that dot, but I want to make it a bit more of a dot. Okay, sorry, back on the game plan. Through here, there's a giant sweep, giant shape, comes around the side here, and then it kind of forks out there, spikes out there, has a little nub, I should say, down to there, and then there's a double little streak there, beautiful, And then this is the bulge, this is the eyeball. But if you see an eyeball, it's all over, guys. Don't you dare do an eyeball. I mean that. Bottom of my heart, if anyone does ovals, paints an eyeball in the middle, it won't look like Johnny. Right, there's a bulge that comes down like this. Really scoops out there. And it goes the whole way to the edge of the canvas. See that? Just like that. Just like that. Kind of hashes over the top there a little bit. It's gorgeous. And then, like a little double slime blip. These are the official terms, by the way. Double slime blip. I'm kidding, it's not. Please don't say that in any art class, you'll look silly. Here we go. You see what I'm doing here? There's that bulge I'm talking about. The bulge. And then down here, a double slime blip. Paint what you see, not what you think you see. We don't want some crude representation of what John Lennon looks like in your mind. We want to know what John Lennon looks like in reality. And we want to make an impression of that through your mind. There's a very subtle difference. Now, next thing, just in here, I hadn't quite filled that in yet. A little bit more. Gorgeous. That's all it needs. And then there's a spike. Spike comes up in there, like that. Fills in there. And then there's another little needle that just encroaches out there like that. And then all that fills in, just like that. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Just like that. Perfect. All right, how are we doing on time? Someone time checked me. I think we're on fire. That's the end of our blues. For this painting, for this layer, the way we're making John Lennon, we no longer need blues. Now, we've made that from scratch. It's messy, it's a little bit chaotic, but inside those blues alone, you can see John Lennon. Thank you very much. Time checks come in at 24 minutes. We have another 36 minutes to thread the needle on John. So, for those who like to be prepared, the next colour you need is yellow. Yellow. And if you're a bit naughty and dirty like me, just wipe the brush off on the back of the surface to get it clean. Otherwise, if you have water, that's a much better way to do it. But I've taken off enough paint now. My brush is Seb Gower clean. Okay, here's your opportunity as well, team. Take a little sip. It's good. It's really good. Now, the wind's blowing around a fair bit. If the canvas blows over and lands on me, it will be funny, but go easy on me. It's weirdly likely to happen. Okay, next colour, yellow. This is no fancy kind of yellow. We're using primary yellow. Full saturation, full power, full fun. Okay, where's yellow gonna go? Where's yellow gonna go? You're the artist, you tell me. Yellow is gonna go. Let's bring in the picture here. Now yellow, the light colour, the lightest of the three primaries. This is the most fun layer to do. We did our definition, now we get to go a bit crazy. So, in this picture here, everywhere you see white, yellow can belong. Everywhere. So we could cover this whole picture now. Everywhere you see white, we can add yellow. And at the same time, guys, sometimes a little bit of subtlety is nice. So, you've seen enough of this picture. I'm going to put this one over the top. This is the actual photo. Tricky. The white parts you need to see are on your surface now. I want you to spot the yellowest bits, and I want you to leave out the whitest bits. You see that bit through there on the tip of his nose? John Lennon's got a very, very highlighted nose. This cheek here, and a little bit of skin there on John Lennon, plus a little bit above his eyeball there. This is all too white. Try not to touch those bits. And then around the lens here, you see that? How it's super, super white? Leave that for me too, if you can. But honestly, guys, with this part, if you want to, everywhere the blue isn't, you can put your yellow. But where you see those really intense highlights, the really intense parts, just leave the yellow off those pieces. You ready? Let's do this. Right. Yellow. Okay. Yellow. Everywhere the white is, yellow can go. But if you want to leave those highlights in place, yellow. Everywhere the white is, yellow can go. But if you want to leave those highlights in place, you're more than welcome to. I'm going for those deeper grey areas. That's all I want. That's all I want. And sometimes the deep grey areas you spot may just be on top of blue. See over here? I got way too excited. So I'm going to scoop on in here and claim back some of that area and say no blue. You can back right off. Yellow's supposed to be hanging out in there. And I'm back to make sure it plays. There we go. That's going to sneak all up through here. Yellow's going to be like this little barrier that sits between all the blue areas and the white areas. Yeah. Kind of like a border to the blues. Darkest areas surrounded by a little bit. There we go. Lovely. See that? They're not pure white, those little dots. They're more yellow. And then we're going to sneak across in here. See that mouth there? Most of it's actually pretty intensely dark. There's a white patch there, but there is some yellow sneaking in. Sneaking in. See that little teardrop we did there? Right at the tail end of that. Yeah, now we're talking. That's it's there. And then, here's a little bit. Like this. We fill in that there too. We're just finding all the areas that aren't perfectly white. And we're adding in some yellow. That's what we're doing. If it's not perfectly white, it's now yellow. If it's not perfectly white, it's now yellow. I'm not painting the glasses there, I'm actually painting just inside them. Because if you see the glasses themselves, they're actually teeny tiny little bit white. But the area around the glasses, well, that's a different story. That is just a little bit grayer. There we go, and I can sneak through there. Down the side of the nose, just a little bit there. Basically the whole way down it. The whole way down it like that. And then it sneaks around this nostril. Just a little bit. It doesn't get too excited. Just hangs in there. A little bit down through there. Yeah. Just like that. Now this is our opportunity here too. We only did a few dark hairs in there. But now's our opportunity. To spot a few of those lighter hairs. Okay, there's one that comes down there. There's one that dangles in there. One that hangs in there. That's just 3 strokes, guys. Just 3 messy little strokes. That area we left out the top there, look at that. It's not white. It's a little bit greyish. So I'm adding the yellows in there. And that cuts across there. See that gap we left between those 2 shapes? Now's our chance to cut through that with yellow. Just like that. Yum, yum. You know what? It starts looking a bit different from this. Good, good. It's your picture. It's your picture. Make it your own. And if it's falling to pieces, embrace that. That's the best time to have the piece in front of you. It's falling to pieces. Beauty in the fall. There we go. On top of those eyebrows, yeah. John Lennon's eyebrows aren't perfectly black, are they? They're a little bit more brown. So we can play around in there with that yellow. Just like that. I like these yellows. And there's a nostril here, which I just painted dark blue, which is very naughty of me. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow in there to recognise it. Straight on top of those dried blues, so it shows up. There we go. Where do we go next from here? Do we want more yellows? I mean, we could. But honestly, if you've filled in your entire picture and covered all the whites, good for you. I haven't done that, and the only reason I haven't, I'm lazy. That's enough yellows. It's enough yellows. Those whites give it that sort of really exposed feel, and I like that. I like that. Art's about being exposed. Art's about being vulnerable. Art's about showing your feelings. There's a bit of rain coming down, so I might be in for an interesting time, but we've got one colour remaining. I told you it was John Lennon in 3 colours. We've done 2 of the colours, and now we're down to just 1. Okay? So same story. Get your yellow brush, wash it out in some water, or like me, just rub it down on the back of the canvas. It's the most naughty method of the lot, team. You just brush the brush out, and now we have it sorted. Right. The last colour, red. Where does red go? I love this colour. This is really fun. We can't use our initial picture to tell us where red went. I'll show you why. Have a little look-see at this. First off, we can't use it because I just tore it up accidentally. First off, we can't use it because these darker areas, the darkest shapes, we did those all in blue. And the light shapes, the areas where the yellow's playing around, we've done those. And red doesn't belong in the lighter areas. Red's too intense. It's got this vigor and intensity to it. So where do we put red? Where can this portrait take some red to get some personality, some life, some vigor, some love? Well, if I bring in the real photo, you see this? When I bring back the real photo, those black areas that we spotted, they're not perfectly all black, are they? They're not flat. In fact, inside those black areas, inside the black areas, some of it, just like on the side of the lips here, and some of it, like in these eyebrows here. You see how it turns to a dark grey instead of a black? That's where our reds belong. So, no more than what we see here, but we have to use a photo to spot where we want those reds to go. And honestly, guys, if you want to go a bit wild with the reds, it's okay too. You can get frisky. You can throw them wherever you like. When I did my initial portrait of John Lennon, my reds just went on splattering everywhere. So, the option is yours where these go, but I'm going to be spotting dark grey areas that aren't black, okay? Dark grey areas that are not black. If you want to follow me, I'll describe where I'm going first. Just like I talked about, down here on this cheek, it's not actually black. This whole area here, I see red, baby. Let's make it happen. Right, we can mix that paint a little bit more. Okay, let's do this. Just through here. That there, to me, that's red in that little space there. And because it's already a dark area, I can scribble. Just through there. And then up through here. As it crosses into that zone of white and yellow, on the edges there. Not going over the blue, but playing there on the edges. The areas I put as blue, but actually, they might soon suit being slightly red. Do these colours have as much pop? Ooh, sorry team. Up on the eyebrow now. On the eyebrow and going over the blues a bit more, getting quite wild with it. Really encroaching out, expanding it. Now, lost my trail of thought. That happens. Depends what you're sipping. Alright, here we go. Sip break. Cut back down. Look at where you're at. And then a little more in here. There we go. Because those eyebrows turned to light grey, they got lost in our initial dark areas of the picture. So we're going to encroach in here and just add it in. And you know what? Every time we enter back into that blue, we go into a zone of zero commitment. Every time we go back to blues, we can suddenly just do whatever we want because it's hidden in a darker colour. So we can play around in the blues, add depth, and when we sneak out from the blues, that's when we get frisky. That's when we start actually developing John Lennon. But in here, see around this nose? I've just done that whole thing dark, but I'll tell you what, let's get in here and just around that tip of the nose, around there, and that nostril, just going to scribble in some light areas. Ooh, beautiful. Sneak around, yeah, just like that. Straight over the blues, guys. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where it goes. When you're inside the blues, you're in the safe zone. And there's just a little bit here, trickles around that eye, where we initially put those two blobs. And then I'm going to do one little ring around those glasses. Can I get a time check? How long do we have left? How long do we have left? This is a 1 hour session. A 1 hour session showing you how to make John Lennon in just 3 colours. We're on our final colour now. We're using red, blue and yellow. Okay? We started with the blues. You were all here for it. We had some real fun. We started with the blues, and there is everywhere we added them. Where did we add the yellows? Literally all the white areas, and we left out the parts we thought were just super white. Here's an example of that. Look at that. Everywhere we saw it being too white, we just left. Played with the yellows. And now we're playing with reds. Honestly, if we're going to have a proper piece of artwork in front of us, we're going to play with all the colours. We're going to play with them. If you're not playing, and I say this all the time, guys, this is so important. If there's one thing you take away from today, one thing, if you're having fun, you're the smartest person in the room. And when it comes to a paint and sip session, pause, have a sip. When it comes to a paint and sip session, it doesn't matter what lands on here. What matters is how much fun you're having. And if you're not having fun, me and no one else on this planet cares what's on here. All anyone ever wanted is for you to have a good time. Alright, where are our reds going? He's like, he's just stalling because he did it in 38 minutes, not an hour. He promised 60. Yeah. Caught me. Okay, sorry. Reds. Now, if you want to, we can play around these eyes a little bit. So, probably, there's a bit of love we can add in here. Just some touches. I'm really not going to get too excited. And then over here, it's just blue at the moment. Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit. A little bit of depth in the eyes. Do we need it? Nah. We never needed eyes in the first place. They just showed up. We were doing random blobs, bulges and shapes. And suddenly, oh, look at that. The effect's called pareidolia. Pareidolia is what happens when you see ambiguous shapes, nebulous subject matter, confusing stuff. And that's all that is. These are all just shapes. And we construct the face. There is no face here, guys. There is scribbles of shapes with a silly little brush. The face, John Lennon's appearance, that comes from your brain, your ability to look at a subject and formulate a pattern or meaning from this nebulous, weird, disjointed elements that make up the picture. So actually, I love this kind of art because it does the viewer, it does you massive respect. It's nothing. Your ability to interpret it, that's everything. Okay, right, reds. We were going to put reds down through here. I'm going to splash a little bit more. I had some fun through here at the start. A bit more fun. You can see here, I'm being really bold and silly, and the reason I can do that, remember the rule, I'm staying in the blues. A little safe zone here, baby. If I'm inside those blues, the picture won't change. I can just play around, enjoy adding some paint. Nothing can go wrong. All I'm gonna do, I mean this, all that's gonna happen if I play in the blues is depth. We're just gonna get more depth and more fun on the surface. If I boldly went in here with the reds, that's just silly. That's not following the method. Right, okay. Doesn't mean you can't do it though. If someone put red here, I love you. That's hilarious. You're on your own journey, and I respect that. Okay, now, coming in here, where are we going next? We've got a little swish there. And honestly, John Lennon's glasses, he's got two little lips that sit on his nose. We've nailed that one there, but it just needs a little bit more. And then there's a dollop over this side. I want that dollop just about there. See what I see? Right there. That's all I need. And then a little bit of a line, as thin as I can do it, just there. And then, I'm probably going to do a little bit in the hair. A little bit up here. Here we go. Just there. Down through here. Lovely. And up in here. Again, it's the hair, guys. Honestly. Down here. And up here. And basically over the entire surface. You can just have some fun. If you want to lose control and splatter paint around, please do. Please do. That loss of control and that freedom you feel, that's the best kind of expression. Best kind. Best kind. Anyway, coming up in here, I want to add a little bit to the top of that blue stroke we started with, and a little bit over here. And then you know what? I'm done. I had fun. That, my friends, and thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. That's how we make John Lennon in, under an hour. And we do it with 3 colours, okay? The canvas started white. We added the blues on first, the darkest patches we could find. We didn't look for eyes, nose and a mouth. All we looked for is shapes. And in those shapes, we just added them methodically, clinically, one after another to the surface. And then after that, we spotted all the areas that were white, but slightly more dull than the intense white. And they're all over the show. We just played around. Just played. And then, with our reds, well, at that stage, wherever we wanted. We stayed in the safe zone of the blues, and in a few spots, like these eyebrows, we snuck out, played around a little bit. But anyway, I had fun being here, guys. Thank you so much for joining for the first How I Do This, little paint and sip session. It's been a pleasure. And wherever you are in the world, I hope you have a great day, or a great night. Before I go, one last thing, have a sip. Bye, team.